Hello. I want to talk about some things that I've been seeing on the internet, articles that are talking about how to help our dogs cope during the COVID-19 crisis. Now, when we look at the word cope, that means to struggle, to deal with something, to overcome problems or difficulties to some degree of success through action. But it's a bit of a low benchmark to aim for, just to get our dogs to cope with something. And if you think about your day, if you could only get through a day by coping, whether that be at your work or home or in a social environment or any other circumstance, I mean, that's a pretty significant thing to have to deal with mentally, just trying to cope and get through the day. And it's no different for our dogs. And during the crisis, when we sort of see things like help your dog cope through the crisis, it sort of suggests that our dogs are doing just fine otherwise before the crisis, but that's just not the case for millions of dogs across the world. A lot of dogs don't have any mental stimulation. They don't actually have a choice of where they can rest and relax and find a quiet place to just get away from stimuli or triggers or even other pets or other family members. It's also a very big issue that millions of dogs actually don't have any variety in their life, and they really don't get to spend very much time, and indeed quality time, with their human family, their human social group. Now, of course, that's changed now in the COVID-19 era, if you like, but still, how has your dog's life changed since you've been at home? Have you spent quality time with your dog? Have you been doing some meaningful activities that are enjoyable from your dog's perspective, that reconnect you and your dog? Have you also helped your dog to understand how to be calm and relaxed and promote calm behaviour, get them to settle on their mat and provide them with something meaningful from their perspective to help them spend some time alone? And when I say alone, I mean not doing something with you, but not also having to feel like they need to wonder where you're going every minute of the day. When we're teaching our dogs to do those sorts of things and be able to relax of their own free will and of their own accord voluntarily, that's a really good way to help transition our dogs to the times when they will need to be home alone. And so it's not just a matter of getting our dogs to cope. It's making sure that we're setting them up with the things that they need, not just physically, but also mentally on a daily basis. And that's irrespective of whether there's a pandemic that's keeping everybody at home or not. So some other things that you can do is also make sure that you're keeping a routine for your dog. And this is really important. You can also set up time where you've got time for them to have a walk, if that's what they like to do, but then there's time where they know it's quiet time, and you can help them along with that by giving them something enjoyable to keep them occupied. You can then do something, not in the same room or in the same room, but your dog's not actually dependent on spending time and being with you. The other thing is Adaptil spray, a pheromone that helps to relax your dog and keep them in a calm frame of mind with a sense of well-being. Adaptil spray is a very good tool, and that can be used in the form of a collar or a spray to help disperse pheromones to help your dog's emotional state and help them to be calm during the day, and use that as an adjunct in conjunction with your food puzzle toys, your mental stimulation and things like that. Now, the other important thing is, of course, if you're keeping a routine for your dog, then that's going to be something that's predictable for your dog, but you're not making it so predictable that it's boring for them, and that's why mental stimulation is so very important. But one final thing, now, if your dog is demonstrating behaviour that is conveying their emotional state of being anxious or unsettled or restless, and you have incorporated these things but you're not seeing an improvement, or you're having difficulties, then it's really important that you see your veterinarian first, just to rule out any medical conditions that might be contributing to those behaviour signs that you're seeing. One great way to keep your dog motivated and stimulated mentally is to just have a training session with them. And there's no better time than when you're at home with your dog right now. So grab your treat pouch, go train, and we'll talk again soon.